President Trump is in Saudi Arabia today, the first leg of his three-nation visit to the Middle East this week. It's meant to tackle crises and conflicts across the region. The White House is calling it a historic return to the Middle East. However, a visit to Israel is not on the itinerary. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell reports from Riyadh.
Good day from Riyadh, where President Trump is beginning what will be a multi-country trip, the first extensive overseas travel of his second term. And here in Saudi Arabia, much of the agenda is on business and economic development. The president meeting with the Crown Prince, effectively the leader of Saudi Arabia today, and many of the top officials here, and business development is on the agenda. The president also having American business leaders here. He'll be talking about wanting Saudi investment in the United States. That is really a way where the president bringing his businessman background to the international stage. He has had a good relationship with Saudi, and we expect that he will really pressure the kingdom to do more to invest in the United States and to buy military equipment and to build on that relationship. But beyond business, we also expect that the president and the crown prince and officials here will talk about regional issues that are always hot spots in the Middle East before he goes on to Doha and to the United Arab Emirates. Of course, the president is also concerned about some of the regional issues and spoke by phone with the newly released American hostage who had been held by Hamas since the Israeli war in Gaza. And so the president will be focusing on a range of these issues while he is on the world stage in a way where he will be selling the American brand and to some degree the Trump brand as well. I'm Kelly O'Donnell traveling with the president in Riyadh.
President Trump arriving in Saudi Arabia this morning, kicking off a 4-day trip set to focus on business deals with wealthy Gulf states. The president hoping to add to the $600 billion in U.S. investments Saudi Arabia's crown prince pledged at the start of this Trump term.
But the $600 billion knowing it will be $1 trillion.
As critics point to the Trump family's regional investments, including a Trump-branded golf course to be built in Qatar by a Saudi Arabian firm.
They're padding their pocket with deals with foreign countries.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle also objecting to an offer from Qatar, where President Trump is headed next, to hand over a luxury jumbo jet for the president to use as Air Force One and transfer to the Trump Library Foundation when he leaves office.
I think that was a very nice gesture. Now, I could be a stupid person and say, oh, no, we don't want a free plane.
There is a provision in the Constitution that says you can't do this. I think it's a mistake, and it's just bringing up something he doesn't need.
And just because they are doing the corruption in plain sight does not make it any less damning or sad or gross.
The White House says legal details are being worked out as aviation experts tell NBC News the plane would need expensive upgrades and a dismantling to check for listening devices. The Middle East trip comes amid emotional celebrations over the return of the last known living American hostage after 584 days in Hamas captivity. 21-year-old Adnan Alexander, a dual U.S.-Israeli citizen, freed in a deal between the Trump administration and Hamas that largely bypassed Israeli leadership. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News. There have been some recent signs of tension between President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over how to approach the war in Gaza and aggression from Iran. President Trump is not currently scheduled to visit Israel this trip, with his third and final stop set for the United Arab Emirates. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.